What if everything you thought you knew about the animal kingdom was a lie? Forget what you learned on TV. In the wild, the predator is not always the hunter, and the hunted is not always the prey. Sometimes, the roles are reversed in the most unexpected ways. The searing sun beats down on Kadipo Valley National Park, a land of vast golden savannas and thorny acacia trees. Under the blistering light, a herd of antelopes grazes, their every movement a symphony of grace and constant vigilance. Their ears are always pricked, their noses twitching, and their dark, experienced eyes tirelessly scan the horizon for the smallest sign of danger. But danger, in this land, is rarely announced. It arrives in silence, a coiled spring waiting to uncoil. A male lion named Kibbo lies hidden in the dry brush, a king in his prime. His muscles are taut with anticipation, his golden gaze locked on a single, nimble young antelope. The hunt is a primal ritual, a dance of life and death that has played out on this very land for millennia. Kibbo is the hunter, the embodiment of raw power and instinct. He is confident. He is perfect. The moment comes. With a powerful lunge, Kibbo bursts from his cover. The savanna explodes in a cloud of dust as the chase begins. The antelope, a sprinter of the plains, dodges and weaves, but Kibbo is a force of nature. He is closing the distance, his mighty roar a promise of an inevitable end. But in his determined pursuit, Kibbo is blind to the world around him. He does not see a subtle depression in the ground, a hollow carved out by ancient geological shifts that has since collected rain and turned into a treacherous, muddy pit. The antelope sees it and, with a final surge of energy, leaps over it to safety. Kibbo, however, is too late. He is too fast, too focused, too triumphant to be careful to stop. The perfect hunter's perfect hunt ends with a violent splash. Kibbo plunges head first into the pit, his furious roar turning into a choked, desperate gurgle as he hits the water. The shock is immediate. His powerful body, built for dominance on the open plain, is now helpless, pulled down by the thick, clinging mud. He thrashes, his claws scraping uselessly at the slippery, vertical walls. Each attempt only causes the mud to give way, sliding him back into the murky water. His roar, once the sound of power, now echoes as an urgent, panicked cry for help. In this moment, Kibbo is no longer king. He is simply a creature, vulnerable and trapped. The water, a source of life on the savanna, has become his prison. The mud, the very soil of his kingdom, now holds him captive. He looks up at the sun, the same sun that illuminated his glorious hunts, and feels a chilling sense of helplessness. He is alone. His pride, his strength, his roar, none of it matters here. This is a different fight, one he is not prepared for. The question hangs in the air. Will the rule of survival of the fittest abandon him to die? Or will his desperate cry reach a listening ear in this vast, uncaring wild? Zuri, Kibbo's mate, hears the roar. It is not the victorious roar she knows so well, but a sound of raw, unadulterated distress. Her ears perk, her body tenses, and she races toward the source, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and fierce loyalty. She arrives at the pit's edge and sees the terrible truth. Kibbo, her strong and mighty mate, is helpless. She paces the perimeter, her tail twitching with anxiety, her soft chuffing a silent conversation of shared worry. She sees his futile attempts to climb out, the way the muddy walls give way under his weight. Her instinct urges her to help, but she is powerless. A deep understanding passes between them. She looks into his eyes of defeat, and he looks back into her anxious ones. It is a silent conversation, a bond that transcends mere words. Zuri knows she cannot save him alone. Her strength, while considerable, is not enough to pull him from the mire. It is in this moment that she makes a decision, not of abandonment, but of hope. She turns and runs, her eyes filled with determination. Her purpose is clear, to seek out a power greater than her own, a force that can move mountains or at least a trapped lion. Her desperate sprint is a testament to the complex, selfless bonds that exist in nature, bonds that defy simple explanations of instinct and survival. Her journey leads her to a quiet watering hole where a giant is drinking. Timbo, an old bull elephant, stands in the shade of a baobab tree, his massive body a monument of silent strength and wisdom. His skin is like wrinkled leather, and his long tusks curve like magnificent arches. Zuri cautiously approaches him, a tiny speck next to his enormous presence. She is the predator, and he is the prey, or so the simple rules of the savannah would suggest. But her distress is palpable. She makes a low sound, a whimper not of aggression, but of need, and then turns back toward the pit. Tembo pauses. He seems to be considering her. He is a gentle giant, but he is also a creature of the wild, and he has a history with lions. He has seen them hunt his calves, has watched them stalk his herd. His calm is a mask for his immense power. Yet, something in Zuri's plea is different. He makes a choice. He turns and begins to follow her, his great, silent footfalls shaking the ground with each step. When they arrive at the pit, Timbo stands at the edge, his gaze fixed on the struggling lion. Kibbo looks up, exhausted and resigned, and meets the elephant's calm, understanding eyes. A tense silence falls over the savannah. Two adversaries, predator and prey, are locked in a standoff. The world is watching, waiting to see what the gentle giant will do. With a sudden, deliberate motion, Timbo acts. He walks to a nearby acacia tree, an old and sturdy one, and with a series of powerful shoves and pulls of his massive head, he uproots it. The cracking of the wood is a sound of brute force, but also of a tender purpose. He carefully drags the tree to the edge of the pit, and, with a nearly human precision, he lowers it into the hole, the trunk forming a perfect, sloping bridge. Kibbo, seeing his chance, hesitates for only a second. Pride is a luxury he can no longer afford. He slowly, laboriously begins to climb, his mud-caked body trembling with each step. He slips, but his claws find purchase on the rough bark. He is a creature reborn, his spirit renewed by a glimmer of hope. At last, he reaches the top. He pulls himself onto the dry ground, exhausted and soaked, but alive. Zuri lets out a small, joyous chuffing sound, a soft acknowledgement of his safety. Kibbo shakes himself, water and mud flying from his coat. He glances at Timbo, and for a long moment, the lion and the elephant simply look at each other. There is no roar of thanks, no tangible act of gratitude, only a silent, powerful exchange of understanding. And then, Timbo turns and walks away, a silent hero disappearing into the vastness of the savannah. The act was not one seeking praise or reward, but one of pure, unselfish kindness. It is a reminder that in nature, as in life, compassion knows no species boundaries. The strongest are not the ones who dominate, but the ones who are willing to reach down and help a fellow creature. For even the king of the jungle can be brought to its knees, and even a humble heart can be the source of a miracle. In nature, the lion is a symbol of wild strength, a ruthless predator. But in that moment, in that muddy pit, it was a creature of ultimate vulnerability, a humbling reminder that even the mightiest can fall. And the elephant, a creature of silent majesty, showed us that true strength is not just about dominance or brute force. It is about the capacity for empathy, the willingness to reach out a helping trunk to another creature in distress, regardless of their species. This story is a mirror for all of us. It challenges us to look beyond our own roles, our labels, our prejudices. It asks us to see the shared vulnerability and the shared capacity for kindness that connect all living things. The elephant did not save the lion because they were friends. It did so because it understood a fundamental truth, that life is precious and every creature, regardless of its power or purpose, deserves a chance to survive. The story of the king, the pit, and the gentle giant is a powerful lesson in empathy. It reminds us that compassion is a universal language, and the greatest acts of courage are often not acts of power, but acts of kindness.